Hello. We're doing something a little different today. We're gonna look at a submarine on Google Maps. So this is the USS Clamagore. It's a museum boat at Patriots Point in Charleston, South Carolina. Let's see. I'll give you guys some background information on this, and then we'll start the tour, I guess. So it was commissioned on June 28th, 1945, and then decommissioned on June 12th, 1975. So just about less than 30 years, a little less than 30 years of service. It's a Balao class submarine, which technically is a World War II submarine, but it was commissioned like at the end of the war. I didn't see any service during the war, and it only served during the Cold War. So that's why in the title I say Cold War era submarine, even though I'm sure if this gets any reach at all, some dick nerd in the comments will be like, oh, actually, yeah, I know, I don't care. It actually served in the Cold War, so that's why I said that. So let's see, what else do I want to say? Yeah, I did some operations around Cuba and stuff for the Cold War. I did a lot of sonar exercises, I guess, and got some upgrades to its sonar system that were kind of cutting edge back in the day. It is the only surviving submarine with the Guppy 3 conversion, which let me just open that page real quick. So Guppy stands for Greater Underwater Propulsion Power Program, and that was like a program to increase the capabilities of these submarines. They added a snorkel mast, which I think you might be able to see here on Google Maps. I'm not sure if that's what that is. I don't think it is. I think that might just be like an antenna. But the snorkel mast is what lets exhaust from the diesel engines go out through the submarine while the submarine is submerged. So that way the submarine doesn't have to surface to run the diesels. They can stay submerged a little bit, at least, because the mast has to be sticking out. And they can run the diesels that way, because the diesel is what they use to charge the batteries, and that's what lets them be quiet. Because they would run the diesel and then be on the battery for special quiet submarine things. Because there's no moving, or less moving parts rather, when you're just on the battery. So if you see these three like humps on the submarine, that's part of the Guppy 3 conversion. So those are passive sonar domes. Each one has some array of hydrophones, and that's for passive sonar. If you don't know, sonar has two different types. There's passive and active. Passive is like just listening to the ocean, whereas active is like what you see in games and movies, where it makes like the ping, and it sends out a signal and then determines where stuff is based on the echo. That's not usually what submarines do. They usually just run the passive sonar because it's easier to be detected if you do the active, because it's not just you that can hear that ping that goes out. So usually they want to use the passive because that just lets them listen for all these different frequencies and stuff. Let's see, what else do I have about this? I was going to make like a notepad with just some shortened notes, but I didn't really have time because I have been rather busy lately and lazy when I haven't been busy. So yeah, this has been at Patriots Point, the museum in South Carolina for, let's see, what does it say? Since 1981, so 41 years. But if you look this up on Google, you'll notice that it's permanently closed because you can kind of see around the water line here. It's kind of seen better days. It's kind of rusty and kind of eaten up. And yeah, so they're scrapping the boat actually as we speak. It's kind of sad, but you know, things can't last forever, I guess. They were gonna sink it and turn it into like a reef for fishies and stuff to live in, but some veterans groups were trying to save it, and they weren't really successful. So it's getting scrapped, and they're gonna make parts of it like part of the display here, but the actual boat will be gone. Patriots Point's pretty cool. If you ever find yourself in Charleston, South Carolina, I recommend visiting because they have this aircraft carrier that you can visit, and that's like its own thing. You can go up on the flight deck, the engine room. You can go everywhere in here pretty much. They have planes and shit on the flight deck. They have like a Pearl Harbor museum in the hangar. And then there's this destroyer here that you can tour. Then they also, somewhere else, I don't think you can see it from here, but they have like a Vietnam museum. So there's quite a bit here. I went here on a field trip once as a wee lad, so I'm kind of doxing myself, but I don't live in this area anymore, so if you stake this place out to try and stalk me, you'll be waiting a while. I did some volunteer work here as an adult. It's a pretty cool place. I like it. So I guess we'll just start with the tour, I guess. Hopefully the audio is fine. It's my first time using background music, but hopefully it's not too loud or too obnoxious. I think it's called Romantic Lounge. So it's like we're on a date to the submarine. So here we are. Just we're right up to it now. We were on some guy's boat earlier. It was like a selfie that some dude took. But here you can see part of that sonar dome. There's flag there, you know, classic submarine things. So, which one is it? All right. This might be the wrong one. There's one end where you can just go to it, you know, just go straight into the submarine. That's where I just was. Uh-oh. Spoilers. We'll just go to one end. Uh-oh. We're spoiling everything here. Now we're back outside again. All right. So I got kind of lost. There's 2 torpedo rooms on this boat. There's a forward and an aft. So one on, you know, the front end and one on the rear end. So this is one of them. I'm not sure if we're forward or aft right now, but modern torpedo rooms are quite a bit bigger than this. And when there isn't when there aren't torpedoes loaded up here, it'll sometimes be used for bunking for extra people. So you can see a bed here. And it kind of sucks, I guess. Seems like it would suck to be in the torpedo room. To try and sleep in there. So before the guppy conversion that I mentioned earlier, the sonar spaces were in one of these torpedo rooms. So sonar would also be set up doing their thing. But with the guppy conversion, they actually cut the submarine in half and lengthen it about 12 feet. And they use that extra space for like a sonar space. And we'll see that. I did run through here pretty quickly earlier just to make sure I could. Let's see, do I want to go here? Yeah. So here we got a toilet. It's very exciting, very interesting. So you can't see it here. I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. But these kind of toilets actually have instructions, usually posted on the wall on how to use them. It's not like a normal toilet. It has like a ball valve that you have to open, and then like another valve that you have to open for water, and then that like flushes it. But these kind of toilets don't really have good suction. So sometimes you have to use that ball valve to break up all the poop. And people will call that the turd cutter ball valve, because that's what it does. It cuts turds. See anything interesting in here? Doesn't really look like it. I don't know what this is. A danger tag. That's interesting. So I think this is like the opposite direction of when I went through it earlier. So now I'm just kind of confused. But see, this says the ship's lathe. So I guess there's some machinery work being done in here. Can't really see it, I don't think. Uh-oh, we're back outside. I think I'm on the other end of the submarine now. Wait. Nope. Okay, we're back. We're safe. So you can't really see it, but I guess there was a lathe over there. And these are like all the electrical stuff. So you can see some motor generator controls. Motor generators are what turn your AC from your diesels and turn it into DC for your battery. So if you're charging your battery, or they can turn the DC from the battery into AC for, the lights and everything else. So motor generators are pretty important. These are just the electrical controls for them. They're not the actual units. I don't think you can see the actual units here. Only the upper decks are visible on this submarine for the museum. Those are the only parts that were accessible. You can't get to any of the lower decks. You don't see any of the like propulsion train stuff or any of like the crew's berthing or any of that. And I don't think you can see the motor generators either. Here's the electric plant. It's how they, I guess how they shut breakers and stuff for the different buses. The different electrical buses, you can't really read these dials, but it looks like it says port bus here, some batteries, stuff. So you want to be able to monitor all these different parameters. There's a phone there. You want to call up your friends, you can use that phone. So on a submarine, they have these phone circuits. They're sound powered. So there's like a diaphragm inside them that vibrates, and that creates an electrical signal which goes to everyone else on the circuit and is translated into like the sound of your voice. So they don't have to use like radio communications, because that could be like a security issue, I guess. You could be detected with your radio signals. So they use these sound powered phones. Where to next? All right, looks like we got 2 of our diesels here. There are 4 of them on this boat. So yeah, we got Maybelline and Jubilee. That's their names. You gotta name your diesels. I don't know if those were the actual names, like when this was crewed by people and out running. The name's probably changed a few times. Usually it's named by one person. Just like when the diesel gets overhauled or something. Try not to go through this too fast. See, I think... Okay, I guess not. Oh, here's 2 more diesels. So we got Speedy Gonzalez and... Oh, come on. Is that Roadrunner? Yeah, Roadrunner and Speedy Gonzalez. Those are the other 2. And here you can see some of the parameters for the diesel. These haven't been running in 41 years, so I don't know if any of that stuff still works. Probably not. Oh, looks like we got some kind of pressure switch or something here. It's just open to the elements. I guess they play a sound here, maybe. Says the sound you hear is a single submarine diesel engine similar to the engines on the Clamagore. Just imagine the volume increased tenfold. And 120 degree heat to get a real sense of the working conditions in these spaces. Yeah, it gets pretty hot in these kinds of places when these things are running. Nowadays, it's nuclear, so submarines still have a diesel engine, but the primary means, especially for propulsion, is nuclear power. And I have experience in the nuclear industry, and it does get quite warm in those spaces. So I can only imagine how shitty it was, 70 years ago, and this thing was operational. Let's see, what do we got here? A shower, maybe? Another toilet. Close flushing valve and hull valve securely after use. And we got some instructions for pressurizing the sanitary tanks. So poop and everything is stored in tanks on submarines. And people fuck this up all the time. And so when you have something that's open to the ship, and you pressurize this tank without isolating that thing that's open to the ship, what do you think happens to all that poop? It goes out into the ship. So let's see here. It looks like we just got some lockers and some museum stuff. We got some warfare insignia. So this is like the submarine warfare. Every person that serves on a submarine gets they have to qualify for this. And it usually takes maybe 6 months to a year, I guess. And until then, when you don't have it, you're known as a nub, which stands for a non-useful body. And you can just kind of get all the shit jobs because they're like, you can't be trusted with anything. So just go fuck yourself and clean or something. And this is combat, the like submarine combat pin. Combat patrol, that's what it's called. So if you've gone on a combat patrol, you get this. No one has gotten this since World War II, I think. Maybe Vietnam, I don't know. So just some more museum stuff on the Cold War. You can't read it from here. And we got the galley. Oh wait, did I miss something? Where am I? I don't know, it skips a few things for some reason. I keep skipping around. Sorry about that. All right, so I think this is like the crew's mess. So I think this is where the crew ate, which it seems pretty small for the whole crew. Let me see if I have any of these Wikipedia articles up still. You can see how many crew members these had, maybe. It says 10 officers and about 70 enlisted. So about 80 people. The officers wouldn't eat here, so I guess about 70 people. This can sit, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So like 4 per table, so 16. And then probably squeezing some people in on the ends on these benches. It's not very big, but people rotate out, so I guess it was big enough. Just trying to see if there's any labels here to see if this was the crew's mess, but I mean, I think it had to be. I can't think of anything else this would be. So this is where people eat. It's also where people just kind of hang out when they're not busy. You know, they play cards or, well, I guess back then they couldn't watch booty shaking music videos on the TV, so I guess they just played cards. Here's the galley. This is where the cooks would cook. Oh, the trash disposal unit. Those are nice. That's just out there. Okay. So yeah, you would put trash in these cylindrical cans and shoot them out of the submarine through there. They got a nice stand mixer. They have the bowl of doom. And this place probably looks pretty small. That's because it is. Submarines are cramped spaces. Here we have a little dummy sticking out of a hatch. And in the museum, you can't access any of the lower decks, like I said before, so I don't know what was down there. I mean, I would guess like a food storage area. Because these guys would go out for a decent amount of time. I'm not really sure about how long diesel boats were out for. But maybe like a month at a time, 2 months. Submarines now will go out for 7 months. The only thing they're limited by with the nuclear stuff is the crew endurance. So it's limited by however much food you can take on. But back then they were limited by other things like diesel fuel, the amount of fuel that they had. It was already back there. Yeah, you can see another hatch here to one of the lower decks, but we can't actually go there. This was the control room. So, shows you depth and everything. This is where all the submarine controls happened. I don't know if speed was controlled back here, because on modern submarines, like if you tour the aircraft carrier as well, all that's controlled in the engine room. So like in the propulsion spaces, that will control your speed. But on these old diesel boats, I don't know if they just put it up here or if this is just like steering. Ooh, a compartment bill holder. Those are important if you're ever on a submarine for some reason. Those have all your procedures in place for different things, like if there's a fire or flooding or something like that. Oh, we have the alarms here too. So this red alarm is the collision alarm. The green one is diving. And the yellow one is the general alarm. So the collision alarm is like if you're about to crash into something or have crashed into something, or if there's flooding for another reason on the submarine, it would sound this alarm. And it sounds kind of like a screech. It's not pleasant. All these worked on the boat, actually, on this boat. But obviously we can't actuate them here on Google Maps. But if this boat were not being scrapped, and if you were touring it, these alarms all still worked. The diving alarm is like the classic awooga, and the general alarm is like the bong 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 one that you hear like in movies and stuff, if you've ever watched a submarine movie. And these, you can kind of see it here. This diving alarm has like a square handle, and each one has a different shaped handle. So even in the dark, you can feel around and tell if you have the right one and sound that one, which I think is pretty cool. It's kind of like an ingenious thing that someone came up with. Let's see, what do we have here? Nothing exciting. Oh, a sonar? Yeah, sonar. So yeah, this is part of the extra sonar space that was given in the Guppy 3 conversion. So if you remember that tiny torpedo room that we saw earlier, just imagine how much more cramped it would have been with all this shit in there. So you can see a little dummy here, a little sonar guy asleep, as they do. I mean, these guys just sit here with their headphones on listening to the ocean all day. So you're always asleep. See, just some cabinets and stuff. Nothing too exciting. Yeah, so we got executive officer's quarters. So he gets 2 beds. What a guy. Usually if there's like a VIP on the boat, they will take one of these beds. It's pretty much the only use that an executive officer has on a submarine, is to provide an extra bed for someone. Most people will consider him the dumbest person on the boat for some reason. Captain's quarters. Yep, he just has a bed, and it's not too fancy, but I guess it gets the job done. He has some gauges in there. I don't know what those are. Depth, maybe? And he's right next to the control room, so if anything happens, he can just run out and go do his thing. This is the wardroom. So this is where the officers all eat. They get their own little fancy room with cushions and stuff. Again, no TV with booty shaking music videos, so I don't know what they got up to back in the day. Did whatever those fancy officer types did, I guess. Play cricket or whatever. Shuffleboard. Let's see, we got the officer's shower. Yep, that's the shower, all right. And just like a sink and stuff. Nothing too exciting. And now we're on the other end, on the other torpedo room. Oh, there's this thing. So this is where you put your lithium hydroxide canisters. So if you're in a situation where you have high CO2 on a submarine, sometimes you can't just go up and get fresh air. So you would put these lithium hydroxide canisters in here, and it would filter out the CO2 from the air and give you a little bit more time to breathe and hopefully not die. But if you're in a bad situation on a submarine, there's not a whole lot you can do. But this is one of the things that you can do. If you go to the submarine memorial at Pearl Harbor, it's just like they'll have the name of each submarine and the name of each crew member that died, and for each one, it's like the full crew, as I'm sure you can imagine. And it's not something where it's like, oh no, we were hit, 10 people are down. That's just it, everyone's down. Is there anything cool that you can see up here? Just some torpedo tubes. So this one had 4 in the front, 4 in the back, which is quite a lot, especially compared to modern submarines. I don't know how much most of them have. You can go on Wikipedia and look it up. It's not like secret info or anything. Come on. Anyway, it's only been a half hour. So maybe we'll go to this aircraft carrier too. Oh, it won't let me go. There's actually like a street view thing here for like a road. The rest of these were like individual points. Like if you know what street view looks like, you probably know what I'm talking about. But then inside the aircraft carrier is like an actual route that you can take. I'll just click on this one. Is this on the flight deck? Yeah. So yeah, there's all these planes. I wonder if you can go in the engine room on here. I think that's I think that'd be pretty interesting. Maybe. Come on. Come on, Google. Well, we got some burgers here. All this is on top. I don't want to be on top. I don't want to be on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. Come on, I want to be inside. Nope. We got some Boy Scouts or something. Their faces aren't blurred out. All this is on the flight deck. Come on. Nobody wants to see that shit. I always thought these planes looked pretty cool. This one with the like radar dome on it. Have these little things I click on and it doesn't do anything. All right, so we're inside somewhere. Captain's Bridge, also known as the Flying Bridge, allows the captain to see more of the deck and improves his vision of the ship's surroundings. Okay. Can I go to the engine room? Ugh. Yeah, I guess there's nothing inside this ship, which is kind of disappointing. You can see inside the hangar. Oh, and then back on the flight deck. All right. Well, that's what you get. That's the inside of the aircraft carrier. Maybe this destroyer? I don't remember caring about the destroyer that much. And it looks like other people didn't care much either because there are only 2 Google Maps points here. So just out on the deck. There's stuff here. A gun. Let's see. I am pretty disappointed. I would have liked to tour inside the aircraft carrier. I know I've said that a million times, but it's true. Now this has a bunch of like casualty tallies or like kill totals for different air groups. You can't really see it here. I wonder if there's a better picture. Not this one. No. What about this one? Nope. But it has different flags, so like the Imperial Japan flag, you know, the German flag from the World War II era, and a few others. Maybe I can just go somewhere else in South Carolina. That's like the area where I grew up. Is there anything cool here? Maybe. I think they tore down the statue that's over here. I don't know if Google Maps is updated. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that all the hippies tore the statue down. Let me see if I can get a better picture of it. Yeah, to the Confederate Defenders of Charleston. Hell yeah. Yeah, his wiener's covered by a leaf. Don't worry. Don't worry, Susan. Yeah, just like a Fort Sumter memorial. Fort Sumter is somewhere over the water here. You can barely see it, even when you're just walking down here. So I can't imagine being able to see it from Google. Maybe like from here. Oh, that's a guy. Come on, Google. Come on. Just let me click on these dots. It's not letting me. All right. So there's a lot of Civil War history here, as you can imagine. Fort Sumter is where the first battle of the Civil War was fought. Contrary to popular belief, it's not where the Civil War started. It's just where the first battle was. You know, much like you had the Boston Massacre, wasn't considered a battle, but it's considered the start of the American Revolution. There was a tax collection ship that fired on some of the Confederate boats, and then Fort Sumter was like the retaliation for that. Just a bit of history for you. There is a submarine memorial here somewhere. I wanted to see if that was... Is this it? This is it. It's just a small thing. Pretty sure this is it. Come on, just give me a better view. I guess this is as good as you get. The USS Amberjack Memorial. SS, I think that says 219. So it's a submarine that was sunk out here. You can see the crew there. It's everyone. There's another memorial here. I think this was for like a ship that was lost in training, I think. All these stupid things, they look like they're on the thing. And I click on it and it takes me back onto the road. All right. Yeah, you can't read it from here. So yeah, this ended up being pretty short. I was hoping it would last like an hour. But 44 minutes. I think that's probably good enough. So we'll just try to get over here. There's a guy there. I thought Google blurred people's faces out, but I have to kind of be careful. So anyway, yeah, that was a tour of a submarine, plus some other things. We looked at the flight deck of the USS Yorktown, which was an aircraft carrier in World War II. And we kind of walked along the waterfront and just looked at some of the historical stuff there. So, you know, ever since I went to Patriots Point as a kid, back in the day, I always liked that submarine. And, you know, I think I don't want to get too political, but I'm pretty anti-war in general. But I think you kind of have to separate the government from the people who are just doing their thing here. You know, I have a lot of respect and all that stuff. I don't know, whatever generic phrase people use for that kind of thing. I do have a lot of respect for people that are willing to put themselves in harm's way because, you know, a lot of people aren't willing to do that. You don't have to agree with the government. You don't have to agree with all the stupid wars that we do, like Vietnam or any of that shit, or Iraq. But some people mistakenly take it out on, you know, these guys and not the members of Congress that sent these guys to do that thing, or the president who sent these guys. These guys didn't have a choice. Well, they had a choice when they signed up, but you don't have a choice of where you go. Anyway. Yeah. I don't really know how to follow that up with anything. Okay, we'll just look at some palm trees. So I think that does it for this stream. It's pretty short, but I had fun. I like that submarine. I like Patriots Point. I try to go back every now and then. I heard that they were sinking the Clamagore, so I went back in 2020 and saw it for the last time. It's a museum, so nothing changes, but it's still nice to go back every now and then. Nothing can last forever, but it's still kind of sad that it's going away. But thank you for being with me again today. My vacation starts on Saturday, but I'll try to stream on Friday. Not sure what I will stream, but I'll make a thumbnail for it. So, yep, thank you for being with me today. And I'll see you all either on Friday or in some pre-recorded videos that I will upload, that I've scheduled to upload periodically throughout the time that I'm gone. So look forward to that. Bye.